Hey, how's it going, guys? So I've been playing a lot of the new God of War game, and I'm just gonna go over some of my thoughts. I'm a big fan of how there's practically no hub in this game. The UI is extremely simple, and there's hardly anything on the screen to distract you from the gameplay or the scenery. The combat is extremely smooth, and it's very rewarding. So basically in this game, you play as an older Kratos who has sought refuge in Scandinavia. He got married and has a son now. His wife died along the way, and it's your job to go with your son to sprinkle her ashes atop the highest mountain in all of Scandinavia. And of course, the Scandinavian gods aren't very happy that you're in their realm, and it makes for a very interesting story. Your son is utilized in battle. In most games, when you have an NPC tag along, it can get cumbersome and annoying, but in this game, it's quite the opposite. In fact, as I played the game, I grew to really like Kratos' son. You get to control him a little bit in battle, and it's actually surprisingly fluid. Atreus will point things out in the environment, and he legitimately acts like a kid throughout the game, and it really helps with immersion. The game is punishing and unrelenting very early on, and it kind of forces you to find your footing. It forces you to use every combat tool in your arsenal. And there's very simple things in combat that make it feel so cool, like the press triangle to have your axe come back to you mechanic. Makes you feel like Marvel's Thor, and it's badass. The character development in this game is awesome. It's on par with games like The Last of Us. You get to see a side of Kratos aside from vengeance, which is nice. Obviously, he sucks as a father, and he treats his son more like his apprentice than his son, but it's really cool watching his bond strengthen with his son as the game progresses. You get to witness Kratos struggling with how to be a father, and you can see Atreus struggling with trying to communicate with his dad. Because Kratos is a huge dick throughout the entire game, you get to watch Atreus develop as he gets more familiarized with battle. You start the game hunting deer, and then like 10 hours later, without him there, you know that you'd be struggling. The kid does explain things to you too often, especially when it comes to puzzles. I mean, it did save me some time, but at the same time, I think, puzzles are meant to be solved. While most of the puzzles the kid didn't say anything, sometimes he'd just flat out point out what I should do. Kratos says boy too much. I know they're really trying to emphasize the fact that he sees him as a kid, He's kind of belittling him without really meaning to, but he constantly calls him boy whenever he wants to get his attention. Boy, hey, boy, this, boy, that, boy, this. Sometimes he says Atreus, but come on, maybe he doesn't have to address him like that at all. Sometimes he can just talk to him without saying boy. That's just a nitpick, obviously. The enemy variety is great in this game. It's not like Far Cry 5 where you see the same 5 enemies everywhere you go. Though there's one enemy type in this game that is pretty much an exact ripoff of the wights from Game of Thrones. The puzzles in this game, for the most part, are fun. Every once in a while, I would find them obnoxious, but those instances were few and far between. If you're gonna play this game, play it slow, because there's a lot of hidden things throughout this game, and you're gonna want to enjoy the scenery, because this game is gorgeous. Every once in a while, you should stop and take a moment to appreciate the beautiful landscapes. Even the people in this game look flawless. The graphics are incredible. And some of the little things in this game just make it stand out from all the rest. Like the compass on your hub is given to you instead of being a sort of spidey sense like in most games. This game is a feast for your eyes and ears. Fantasy buffs will absolutely love this game. There's huge dragons, massive trolls, there's dwarves, there's elves. Every detail in this game you can tell they put a lot of effort in. Even the snow. When you're walking through the snow, you can see it part and it looks so real. There were moments in this game when I thought I saw some nods to Hellblade: Noah's Sacrifice, which is another game based on Norse mythology, so it kind of makes sense, but it's also a really awesome game, so maybe that's why. It could just be me though. I kind of wish that there were more weapons that you could use. The axe is awesome and it feels great, and I really like all the moves you can unlock with it, and it does have sentimental value throughout the game, and maybe adding more weapons would have been too complex, but it's not a huge deal because the amount of moves that you learn as you play keeps things refreshing, and you never get bored of using it. Watching Kratos' relationship with his son develop is compelling and keeps you invested throughout the entire game, and there are a lot of really cool characters in this game. You'll meet quirky dwarves, you'll meet an interesting witch, you'll meet other gods. I did encounter some very minor bugs throughout the time that I played, but nothing that was game breaking. In my opinion, this is the best God of War to date. It is engaging from the first minute you play to the last. The bosses are fun, and even the quick time events are used in such a way where you feel the adrenaline. The best part about this game is that there's an actual hook on his back that he uses to hang his axe on when he's not using it. Because in most games, the weapons just somehow stick to people's backs, like everyone's back is just magnetic in every single video game. But in this game, they really wanted to try and appeal to the people with OCD out there, and I greatly appreciate that. I think this game deserves all the praise that it's getting, and if you haven't played it, you are sorely missing out. So yeah, those are my thoughts on God of War. Let me know what you thought of the game in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.